Hi, good morning. Welcome to the channel. It's Jim. Today I'm listening to Fish again. Not the splish splash of koi carp out in the pond. No, this is the ex-singer from Marillion and solo artist fondly known as Fish. Derek Dick is his name. Now, this has been recommended to me by James Wilson, and it's a song called The Perception of Johnny Punter. It comes from the album Sunsets on Empire, which was co-written and produced by Stephen Wilson. That's Stephen Wilson. And it came out in 1997. Now, apparently, according to Wikipedia, it was a bit of a flop. And poor old Fish lost hundreds of thousands of pounds and ended up having to fold his record label as a result of it. So it didn't really it didn't work for him. So it's a bit sad, isn't it? Right, so this is a 8.5-minute song. We've got a few. I've got lyrics up here. There's a few slightly dodgy ones at the beginning, but I think it all makes sense in the grand scheme of things. So just bear with it and don't take offence at what you're listening to, because it's part of a bigger story. In the same way as the Frank Zappa stuff kind of was, but using different language. You'll see what I mean. Right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, pop.
Just another nigger.
There you go.
A spooky piece of white trash. Just another Jew boy, speak Nick, yit raghead motherfucker living on the planet. Just before it kicks in. Just like a silver bullet. Take a good look at yourself in the mirror and tell me that it's worth it. Said it'll never happen. Said you'd never get caught out. You settled in a hydrant. So now you're Mr. Fix-It. Just another alien
Quite a cool groove, isn't it?
living on the planet. Living on the planet. It's just one of those days when you know that something's gonna happen. Just another betrayal.
Really
Lose another
persistent,
friend.
continuously forward-moving.
You know you never need them on your own until the bitter ends. Just another pickup. Just another kill. Someone else's daughter. Someone else's girl. Living on the planet. We are in another world. Living on the planet. We are. But you know there's some days when you feel that something's gonna happen. This is one of those days that
This is
you know
very,
that something's gonna happen.
very good.
Something is gonna happen.
understand why this would have been a flop. Loving that guitar tone. That sounds so cool. Beautiful.
Some days you just wake up and you don't have any real sense of direction. You just can't find the will to get up and go through with it all. Your next allotted 24-hour slice of destiny. It's just a bad vibe, and rather than a world of opportunities, it's full of threats and just too many negative variables. I noticed these houses way up in the hill, and I tried to imagine what it would have been like living up there, isolated from the world. Every night watching the fires crawl slowly down the valley, and knowing that one night it was going to be your turn for the visit. I try and imagine what it would have been like hiding in a cellar with your family in the fear, hoping that when they do come, when the dogs don't bark and the silences around you, you hope that they burn the whole house around your ears and they don't discover you hiding in the cellar because you've got nowhere to go. And you know that one day that something is going to happen. There's one day, just one day.
Just another village, burning in the hills. I saw it on the TV. Just another thrill. Someone else's problems, someone else's grief. Someone else's children living on the planet. We are in another world. Living on the planet. We are in another world. Living on the planet. We are, it's just one of those places that never exist till you've been there.
I love that lyric. That's so clever.
It's just one of those things that you never will see till you wake up. We are in another world. That somewhere there's somebody that's out there who thinks like you do. We are in another world. That today is the day that it's all gonna happen for you. We are in another
There we go. Wow. That was a much bigger piece than I don't know why. I mean, I've not really listened to a lot of Fish, just the little bits that have come through in the last few weeks on the channel. But that's that was a humongous sounding piece of music. It was kind of almost sort of Guthrie Govan guitar solo, sort of in Drive Home, that sort of vibe. That was a massive, massive, big guitar part in there. The overarching story, I'm trying to work out whether Johnny Punter is, I'm guessing, a made-up person, and the punter is just sort of, just someone else sort of living their life, and a punter is an attendee, a goer. Punter at a gig is someone who turns up at the gig, isn't it? Or, so it's someone else who's just existing and watching all this awful. That's the thing, isn't it? Sort of, you keep turning a blind eye to what's going on, and you say, "Oh, it's never going to happen to me." And then one day, it happens to you, and there's no one left to come and help you. That's the thing. It's about tyranny and oppression, and that's kind of why those descriptive words at the beginning are so offensive on one level, if they're being used to direct at someone in an offensive way. But it's this person's way of looking at the world around them and suddenly realising, actually, they're the same. We're all the same. And we're all on this one planet, and we're all interconnected. And if you don't realise that, then more fool you. There's a lyric in there, which I said at the time, I love that. It's just one of those places that never exists until you've been there. That's exact. I've never been to New York, so it doesn't exist. I've seen it on pictures and on films, on TV, but it's not real because I've never been there. That sort of thing. And of course it exists, and I know it does. But it's so easy to imagine that Syria or Ukraine or rural China or North Korea or parts of South America, the ghettos in Mexico City, or places which absolutely need to be talked about and thought about, but are not, because out of sight, out of mind. What an amazing piece of music this is, and really, really strong, thought-provoking lyrics. Very, very good. James, thank you. Thank you very much indeed. That's a bit of a humdinger, that. I'm trying to get hold of that on CD or vinyl. It's a tricky one to get hold of. I did manage to get what I thought was the CD. I bought it. It comes in a slip, but it is Sunsets of Empire by Fish. If I get that to... There you go. But unfortunately, it's a promo-only version, and doesn't even have this track on it. It's only got about 5 selected tracks from the album. So although I paid money to buy the album, it didn't have everything on it. I didn't read the listing properly, so that's my mistake. So I still need to get hold of this. But what I do have, James, you'll be very pleased to know, is Vigil for what's it called? Vigil for a Wilderness of Mirrors, which I'll be using for some more tracks coming up soon. So again, Fish. I hope you've enjoyed that. I did. It's as I say, a wicked piece of music. I have to say, I'm really, really flummoxed by why that should have been such a flop. In some ways, I'm not, but I'm really disappointed and sad for Fish that it was. There's nothing wrong with that piece of music at all, and I suspect the rest of the album. And it's I don't know. The world. I've said this before about things. The world takes a collective shrug and says, "Yeah, so what?" It's Fish has released an album. Yeah, I moved on. I'm not even going to try and listen to it. Now, if this had been released much more recently, with Stephen Wilson's name more prominently on it, because his involvement in it is plain to hear, and his name sells, then I suspect that would have done much, much better. Sad, isn't it? And it just goes to show that even sort of really sort of prolific and talented musicians, it's all a bit of luck. If you haven't got the right luck with you, no matter how good your record is, it ain't going to sell. It's bad, isn't it? I'll see you guys on the next video, whenever and whatever that is. Until then, this is Jim over